Hola! Your dream vacation to Thailand starts from 19,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
I know that you don't read most of the good comments. You don't believe the good comments sometimes.
Only.
But why?
I don't like reading it because there'll be one bad thing. There's no point letting it affect you. I'd rather have like a one-to-one, connection with someone. You could be feeling everything in your personal life, but you just can't do that on a set. You have to forget about all of that and come back and focus on the work because there are hundreds of people waiting for you. So you don't have the option to kind of be like, I'm having a bad day or I'm not feeling well. It's not possible. I used to think that, no, I need to put everything out there, but I don't need to put everything out there because I do need to save something for myself because otherwise I'll lose my mind.
What is your way of dealing with heartbreak and loneliness?
Just deal with it. Figure it out. Nothing is permanent, every feeling I think is transient and it will get better.
You would need to address it either by talking to somebody or by just doing something about it or by burning photographs.
By burning? You've been burning photographs?
I haven't been. I have done it in the past.
See, I slipped it.
Yeah. Sly.
Really?
Yeah.
And what did you do? Please tell me. I
don't
know about
everyone,
this.
It's not like I'm the only person on earth who has done this.
No,
Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people have done it. It's just a nice way of like removing your frustration, I think.
And Sonakshi said that it was not even nominated for awards. Did that ever bother you back then?
It did, of course, because I not so much for me. I didn't feel, it wasn't like, and Sonakshi did say it back then when she's like, you've all loved the film, it's been reviewed beautifully, all that sort of stuff, and not to give her even a nomination. I felt really bad for her.
Being a nice friend, I'm just asking you like this. Are you really happy right now?
But I'm also not.
I remember during my college days, I went to watch this movie thrice, and all the 3 times I cried at the same scenes. It was Lootera, a film that is so close to my heart, and a filmmaker who's also equally so deserving and so brilliant. And it's always a good year when you get to meet Ananya Panday so many times in the year. Thank you for doing this for Galatta India. How have you guys been? The trailer is fantastic.
Thank you.
You can see the reactions. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to make you guys react to some of the comments on the trailer later. But did you anticipate this kind of a reaction to the trailer? Because it's like 2 different worlds mixing all together.
No, I mean, it's what we wanted, so. Good.
Absolutely.
No, there was a lot of curiosity because every other promotion that I've done before this, there was always this question like, you and Vikramaditya Motwane, like how is that combination? And people have been so curious about it. And I also saw the trailer, I think day before yesterday, and I was like, wow, this is a really cool trailer once you've seen the film also, the way it's cut. So I'm really happy.
No, but I have to say, it's a banging trailer.
It's a really cool trailer.
Even when I saw the trailer the first time when they sent me, I'm like, this is great.
About our own work, we're very happy. So yeah, we're excited.
Are you also happy that suddenly in the last 1 year, all the naysayers' perceptions have changed with all the performances that you've done? If you read the comments, I know that you don't read most of the good comments. You don't believe the good comments sometimes. But why?
I don't like reading it because there'll be one bad thing. There's no point letting it affect you. I'd rather have like a one-to-one connection with someone. So yeah, I prefer to stay out of it.
But I want to ask you this, that why Ananya? Like, what was it about Ananya that made you feel like she's perfect for this particular project?
Well, because I mean, A, she's a good actor. B, she fits into the profile of what we were looking for. Young, somebody very, social media forward, somebody very popular, but also someone who can get trolled. So I think, or does get trolled.
Ongoing,
yeah. So somebody that kind of like fit in really well, but I mean, mostly it's only because she really fit the part, yeah. And
I remember one of my first few conversations with you post your first film was about So Positive, right? Because it is something that back then बातें चालू हो रही थी और आज तो मतलब it is such a need of the hour because everybody is going through so much of toxicity online, right? Like unfortunately, social media has become a place जहाँ पे नफरत बहुत आसानी से बिक जाती है. Do you face that as a celebrity? Do you feel the same as a celebrity? That over the years, although people thought that we'll get kinder post-COVID, people have only become more meaner. Especially the mean things are amplified on social media.
I think that's what you look for because with So Positive, first it was about that, trolling online, bullying and all of that stuff. But now we've also turned around and made it about a general sense of kindness, because luckily with social media you can alter your reality. You can choose to see what you want to see. That's the good part about social media. So I think it's about what you choose to see, because there's always going to be a bad in every sort of situation. You just have to change the way you look at things.
When did you find that shift in your personal life? When you felt like these kind of comments stopped bothering you? Because there was a point that it used to bother you.
I think the more you grow up, I think I've just grown up. It's going to be my 6th year now, and it's been happening since the start. So I think you just develop thick skin over time, and also you kind of realize what is important and what's not important. You can filter out the excessive noise and baggage and really just tune into and focus on what's important. And I also think the kind of work that I'm doing for me as an actor is very meaningful and challenging. Like, I'm having so much fun as an actor, so I'm not really bothered by what people are saying.
You know, there's been an ongoing debate also about film criticism, right? So you have also faced that all through your life. जब social media नहीं था तब critics ऐसे लिखते थे, कुछ भी लिख देते थे. Has there ever been a point where you've read something, maybe about your film or somebody's film, which was a little harsh than just criticism, like it was a little more personal? Do you feel that?
No, you do feel that, and things are, that's what in the early days there would be, you could sense the fact that, see, I have zero problem with criticism. Like, if you don't like my film, by all means you don't like my film, and everybody has a valid point. The thing is, when you're looking for faults in the film to be able to sort of like justify your dislike for the film, for me that's like, dude, then you're not even watching it objectively. You're wanting to not like it, and you're therefore kind of, you know, just hating on it, shitting.
But do you remember anything that bothered you as a filmmaker about that you read about yourself?
About myself, no, but about my film, yes. I mean, there's times even Udaan has got people who are like, nah, I didn't like it. There's Lootera also. There was I didn't like it. And then once you sort of like see that, and you kind of like, then generally what happens, then I don't read reviews anymore. So literally the only review I tend to read nowadays is actually baddies. Because
Of course.
Because Baddy loves movies. He
Yes.
loves cinema from the bottom of his heart, and even in a film that he doesn't like, there'll always be a sense of the fact that here's how this thing could have been better. And I think that you have to tend to then find those people and find those reviewers who are, even if they're giving you a bad review, it doesn't matter, because there's something to learn from that review. And I think
he also teaches cinema, so you understand cinema to a very, very nice extent, and him talking about certain elements of filmmaking is much more, because आज क्या होता है ना, आज किसी के पास भी phone है, कोई भी है तो कुछ भी लिख देते हैं. मतलब that's why I don't review, because I don't think I have studied cinema to review. I can only speak as an audience whether I liked it, I didn't like it. Screenplay, XYZ, इनके बारे में जो बातें होती हैं, I don't feel like that's anyway, like, you have to reach a certain level in your life, or maybe have that education to comment on somebody else's art, which I think is what you pointed out. But I want to ask you that a lot of times people, whenever you're doing these films, people actually feel that it's you, but actually it's not you. How are you dealing with that kind of perception when it was...
genius of the actor.
You can't tell the characters apart. How do I deal with it? I mean, I feel like people say that when they maybe see a trailer or they see like a small part of the film, but I think as a whole, once they watch the film, then people don't often say that. I also feel like I do try to find the similarities between me and the character, because it does help me also a lot,
Yeah.
Even if it's a character like Dream Girl who's so far away from, the reality that I've lived, somewhere I do try to make her relatable, or I find something that connects with me in her. So that is something that I do. But I also try to keep the differences, like with Nella, it may seem like a character that's similar to how I am, but not, because she's from Delhi. The way she speaks is completely different. I really had to, it may seem like a small thing, but the way someone from Delhi speaks versus, the way someone in Bombay speaks is very, very different. So I've tried to bring that in, and also a social media influencer compared to an actor. The lives are very, very different. So I do try to create that, yeah.
But also, when you are popular, one thing that I really loved in the beginning, anybody who's popular today, okay, whether it's an actor, social media influencer, anybody, they always have to hide their internal emotions. If the emotion is something like sadness, upsetness, anger, do you feel that on a daily basis that you also have to like kind of garb it, put it under the garb of something else, which is something more?
Firstly, I feel like as an actor, you don't have a choice but to do that, because you could be feeling everything in your personal life, but you just can't do that on a set. You have to forget about all of that and come back and focus on the work, because there are hundreds of people waiting
Yeah.
for you. So you don't have the option to kind of be like, I'm having a bad day or I'm not feeling well. It's not possible. Yeah, and I also feel like I try to keep it as real as possible, but I also feel like everyone doesn't need to know everything. You know, I feel like I used to think that no, I need to put everything out there, but I don't need to put everything out there because I do need to save something for myself because otherwise I'll lose my mind. So yeah, I keep it as real as possible, but then I also protect things for myself and I let that out in my real life rather than on social media.
But both of you being artists, I want to know that when you are going through something emotionally, how difficult does it become to come to work and then do the same things with a smile? Because like you said, there are so many people around you and there's so much on you guys, especially as a director, as an actor. How do you manage to do that? Does it become difficult internally? Not to the world maybe, but internally, does it ever become difficult?
I have the luxury of not having to smile every single day of my work, so that is something that's good. And I think when you surround yourself with people who know you and who understand you, and they sort of like, it's one of those, oh, he's in a bad mood today, let him be. Or, he's in a bad mood today, let's navigate this in the right sort of way. Or then at some point in time, once you have enough experience and enough maturity, I think you also understand that I can leave the bad mood behind and be able to focus on. Also, I love my work so much that there's a tendency that sometimes that is the cure to my bad mood in the first place. I'm not in a bad mood because of work, I'm in a bad mood because of something else.
Yeah.
So I think that work helps me in that sort of sense.
Yeah, same. I think I find it really tough to be in a bad mood when I'm on a film set. It's like instant cure for me that I'm instantly, teleported to another world, and then after 12 hours it's like, oh shit, now I have to deal with real life again. But yeah, I think my job is only to be my best in front of the camera. Then behind the camera, if I'm in a bad mood or I'm having a bad day, then I think I'm surrounded by people, as Vikram sir said, who understand that. Yeah.
But how do you deal with those emotional lows as a person, not as an actor? Like in the trailer also, I see like you're dealing with it. You're trying to deal with it. You're trying to cope up. Although there's so much of public glare on you, right? So how do you deal with it on a personal level in life?
I talk about it. I talk about it to my friends or my parents, or the same way Nella does with her friend Beena. She calls her and she's crying and venting. That's the same way I also deal with things, talking.
Work is one thing, but working out, listening to
Working
music, playing with my dog, going for a walk, talking to, addressing the issue sometimes. Sometimes it's addressing the issue, or just sometimes venting also is actually very, very good.
But
if you're having a fight with somebody, address it to somebody else.
Yeah. But actually, working out is really the best.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. I've never been in a bad mood after working
True,
out.
100%.
I go in a certain mood, I come out like a different person.
And add music to that, then it's
Yeah,
great.
then
Work out with like some really great tunes in your, it's very nice.
Yeah.
I want to say this out aloud. I don't know if I should. I've been in a very bad mood since yesterday. And then I saw this trailer. I was just looking at God and asking, like, why do good things happen to people who have been mean? Like, because we believe in karma. And something very similar, it is very wrong to say this, but I would love to erase a few people from life and from like the world. Is there any memory of yours that you would like to erase because it's not just it's just not a happy memory? Anything?
But there's a yes and no to this, in the sense that, there are certain bits that I would sort of relate, whether it's from my childhood or whether it's things that I've done, stupid things that I've done myself and whatever. But you also realize that all of that has made you the person you are today to sort of become better. So it's one of those kind of cash. Would you really erase them because of, and it's like...
No, because I feel like then you miss out, what happened in Eternal Sunshine, like you forget the good also, which I don't want to forget, everything comes with like a bad side also. I would maybe erase like losing people, like death if I could, but yeah.
Yeah, but nothing else. No experiences of life. When we talk about your character here, they have a way of dealing with heartbreak. They have a way of dealing with loneliness. What is your way of dealing with heartbreak and loneliness?
Just deal with it. Like, figure it out. Nothing is permanent, every feeling I think is transient and it will get better. So I think knowing that is good enough. But to feel it in the moment.
But has it evolved over the years, do you feel? Like initially were your reactions different from how it is today? Because you've also grown and matured in life?
No, I've pretty much been like this only. Yeah.
What about you?
Heartbreak and loneliness. I've
How do you deal with
How do I deal with
after being with
heartbreak?
Ishi since you were like in the 8th standard?
But you can still feel lonely
Yeah.
at times, even if you're with
But
somebody.
it's good to feel lonely also, I think.
No, that's something is good. And somewhere that there is that. I think that what the question you asked, that loneliness and bad mood is kind of in a sense like for
Yeah.
me the same in that. So it's like you just deal with it. Yeah. So if I not heartbreak, but my flipped my synonym to that would be something like anxiety. How do you deal with low moments and stuff like that? Well, just to deal with it in its way, let it come, let it just don't try and completely suppress anything. Deal with it, let your emotion flow through, and then address it as you would need to address it, either by talking to somebody or by just doing something about it, or by burning photographs.
By burning, you've been burning photographs.
haven't been. I have done it in the past.
See how I slipped that in?
Yeah. Sly.
Really?
Yeah.
And what did you do? Please tell me. I
You
don't
know
know
why
about
everyone,
this.
it's not
I
like
didn't
I'm the
know
only
this.
person on earth
I
who has
know
done this.
No, but-
Everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people have done it. It's just a nice way of like removing your frustration, I think.
Oh, so you are technically Geet also.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
You have done that in real life.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow! I read somewhere that apparently you have an Xbox.
Yeah.
Is that the thing you're talking about? Or
Yeah.
is
No,
different?
you put everything in an Xbox and then you go and burn it.
That's
I
brilliant.
think there's not much
brilliant.
left to be burned, but I should. Now that you've given me that idea.
It's a lot of fun.
It is. I'm gonna tell you right after doing how good I felt.
Yeah.
But you're right. It actually stems from a lot of loneliness now to think of it. But AI and social media has taken over our life in a lot of ways. That is beautifully shown. Do you feel that there could be a time very, very soon where it will become genuinely a threat and not just in a film or a project? It will become a threat to everybody's jobs and stuff like that?
If there's not enough gatekeeping, the right kind of gatekeeping in this world, then yes, 100%. Because we are very easy to adopt into, to sort of say, oh, AI is going to make our life easier, it's going to save 70% of my cost, blah, 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 blah. And once you sort of like justify that by saying I'm going to adopt AI and then saying it's okay for X number of people to lose their jobs, then of course it's a problem. So there has to be some gatekeeping.
Yeah. But does it become scary for actors? Because there are so many actors who have actually come out and spoken about these AI videos where they are made to say things, they are made to do things. Their own videos have come out which are like really explicit, which are not true, but it's like made with AI. So a lot of people, a lot of normal audience actually believe into what they're being shown. Does it become difficult for you to like maneuver through that?
Yeah, for sure. Because as Vikram sir said, the only way to figure it out is regulation and gatekeeping and flagging things that are AI marked. That's the only solution.
But do you do that on a personal level?
I can't do it on a personal level because it's happening without my consent and it's happening in the world. Like on my own, I'm not someone who uses AI really, but I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but I want to ask you this, that you started off working with Sanjay sir, and from there to today, what are the differences that you have seen and what do you think that you have learned? Because you started off, I think, on Devdas, if I'm not wrong.
Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam.
Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam. So it's even, like how was
5 years since the release.
Since I was born.
Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly. So how was the experience then? Like, was he always this fascinated by the world? Was he always, like people talk about him today because he's more celebrated today. But of course, Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, he just broke into the whole scene.
I haven't met him recently, but his work is he's still very, very dedicated, very focused, very consumed by his work. He's always been that way. He's been very disciplined. That's the one thing that I've learned from him is the discipline of being able to wake up in the morning and really just like take that time, do your writing, do your whatever needs to be done in that moment. That living for the film is something which he's always been that way.
If you could take control of anybody's life around you, who would it be and what would you do? What would you rather do differently?
I can barely take control of my own life. I don't think I should be taking control of anyone else's life. I would take control of my sister Raisa's life and make her stop spending so much money because she doesn't listen to anyone. So yeah, I would do that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I need to be a little strict with her.
And your mom and...
I'm sure they would want to do the same thing.
No, but they're saying...
Raisa's out of control. Yeah.
If you talk about social media, what is the best and the worst thing about social media according to you?
For me, the best thing about social media is communicating with people and, just meeting people and being able to have access to people and just instant communication. The worst thing is, you say your best thing, then I'll say my worst thing.
No, the best thing is the same. I think the idea of being able to like create a town square. I mean, that's what Twitter was supposed to be. Is like you sort of like ideas or information or solutions, and reaching out to people, finding ideas, making the world a better place is where I think. And I think it's still there's parts of the internet that still have that. You can still sort of like do that. Like that, I think is the best part of social media. And sharing, of course, sharing with people close to you. You want to be able to,
connecting.
Yeah, connecting.
My worst thing, I think, would be like herd mentality. Like one person says something and then everyone starts saying like the same thing. I would want to change that.
What about you?
For me, the worst thing is just like it tends to become a negative place because everybody wants to put their opinion and they think their opinion is the right opinion. And I think that people
Completely
are
agree.
telling them not willing to listen to anybody else. It's telling them, "Hey, this is the way it is." And then camps and.
But have you
wings.
faced that in real life as well? Like in the industry, when you're trying to make films, camping of course happens. It's a reality.
Look, it does. Yes, it does. Yes and no. In the sense that look, there is. I think the wonderful part of the film industry, for all its, actually no, there's no. The wonderful part of the film industry is the fact that it doesn't matter who you are. If you're good at your job, you will always get work in this place. And
It's
I think
accepting.
It's very accepting. It's very democratic. It doesn't matter at some point in time where you've come from, who you know. If people know the fact that, hey, this person can direct well, write well, act well, sing well, compose great music, it doesn't matter. You will be accepted, you will be taken into the fold, and you will have work. So I think that's an amazing part of the industry.
I reached out to you when we were doing that fans festival with Sonakshi, and you had given an audio, and of course Sonakshi reacted to it. And during the course of the conversation, when we were speaking about Lootera, because I started with Lootera, I have to tell you this, that Lootera is one of the finest films that I have watched, and I feel like it has the same kind of reactions from me because I think the emotions were so pure that it genuinely, like, for once I would love somebody to behave that way with me, and I would do that to a lot of people in my life. But Lootera, do you feel like today, so many years after, when people on Reddit, which is where people only talk like so much of shit, but sorry, iske baad bhi aayega. But when people on Reddit also like say that this movie should have gotten its due, it didn't get its due, it was not nominated, and Sonakshi said that it was not even nominated for awards. Did that ever bother you back then?
It did, of course, because I not so much for me. I didn't feel, it wasn't like, and Sonakshi did say it back then, when she's like, you've all loved the film, it's been reviewed beautifully, all that sort of stuff, and not to give her even a nomination. I felt really bad for her, because I thought like it was one of the finest performances, very objectively, that I've seen somebody do, not just because it's in my films, and she really got into that character. She got into the soul of it. So I felt really bad for her. I felt really like angry at that point in time. But the moment like you realize, okay, it's not, you presume always, you are naive. And I still have that, I'm still naive about lots of things. I still feel that there is a utopian world. We realize very quickly that it's not. I'm not bitter about it. You just accept the fact that, that there is a certain way that things work, and you move on, and then you just like, look, I'll just keep doing whatever I'm doing.
Yeah. And finally, there's a point of in the trailer where you go on the app and you say that take control of my life, and then they say and happiness. That will be my last question, because I've always seen you as a happy person. You always and I always say this, that anything that I start with you turns into gold, and you've always been my lucky mascot for all the shows that I've done. Thank you, because I started my career almost like video journalism career almost at the same time as your debut. But I want to know this, that if you had to define happiness, what would it be? And are you really, really happy and sorted? Because I'm being a nice friend, I'm just asking you like this. Are you really happy right now?
Yeah, I think I would be. I'm really happy right now. In terms of everything, like, Gaye has done really well, better than I think any of us would have imagined. Just the number of people that have watched it, the love that the character has gotten, because that one could have really gone either way. I was very nervous about that one. I'm very happy that Control is finally coming out, and I got to add a Vikramaditya Motwane film to my filmography, and people get to watch it. I'm happy with my loved ones and my friends and my family and all the special people in my life. So I'm feeling very like calm and at peace.
But you are, let me just put it this way, that do you feel like some relationships where you don't speak about it, they are more sacred than that? Because here everybody knows about it, and there are conversations?
I've always been the same. I think I don't really speak about anything. I've always been like this only. I don't speak about anything. People ask and I'm funny and I say funny things, but I don't say come and say anything. But I'm also not hiding anything or ashamed of anything. I'm just myself.
I just hope that you continue to be this person, because I've always said this and I'll stick to what I said on the first day I met you, that you're an amazing human being. Today you're finally getting your due as an artist, and everybody who stood by you, who has loved you, who's admired you as a person, will equally feel happy, because it's a win for them as well. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for giving us projects that we can genuinely boast of. Like a 30-year-old me will always be fond of you, saying that you were a part of those directors who we have grown up watching and loved watching. So thank you so much.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
Hola! Your dream vacation to Thailand starts from 19,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.